What a blowout of news! The Buffalo Bills just took everyone by surprise. A dramatic turnaround has rocked the NFL in the last few hours. And yes, it's official. Something big has just happened behind the scenes at the Bills, and no one was expecting it. The entire league is on high alert. Fans are in shock. And while many are still trying to understand what's happening, we've got all the details straight to you. So if you're one of those fans who wants to stay ahead of the curve, subscribe to the channel now, turn on your notification bell, and get ready. Because what you're about to discover could change everything. Could Bills be the underdog to land a $68 million WR? There's no doubt about it. The Buffalo Bills are on fire in 2025. With 5 consecutive AFC East titles and reigning MVP Josh Allen as their starter, expectations are sky high. But an undecided Super Bowl berth is still far away. General Manager Brandon Beane and head coach Sean McDermott doubled down this offseason with aggressive defensive moves, signing Joey Bosa, Michael Holt, and Larry Ogunjobi, and using their top 5 draft picks on defensive backs. Offensively, they signed Elijah Moore and Joshua Palmer. But fans and analysts agree on one thing. There's still a gap. Buffalo needs a true WR1. That's where Terry McLaurin enters the conversation. The Washington Commanders' $68 million receiver remains in limbo amid unresolved contract negotiations. According to Bleacher Report's Alex Kay, McLaurin could be the next domino to fall, and he suggested Buffalo as a surprise destination, not because of a lack of salary cap space, which would require a major move, but because of his fitness. Terry McLaurin would immediately become Josh Allen's top target, Kay wrote. He would complement Keon Coleman's potential and Khalil Shakir's characteristics, giving Buffalo one of the most balanced wide receiver corps in the league. McLaurin has surpassed 1,000 receiving yards in 5 consecutive seasons. He's a transparent route technician with hands that don't lie and footwork that punishes defenders. Add him to Buffalo's offense, and Allen's already explosive arsenal becomes a nightmare for opposing defenses. It's not a cheap idea, but it's powerful. The Bills would need to be creative in managing the salary cap, possibly restructuring contracts or making another veteran trade. But the reward could be a consistent playoff run that finally opens the door to the Super Bowl. But if the Bills truly want to reach the top, it's not enough to just dream of an impactful name like McLaurin. The burning question is, like what we have today, is Buffalo's passing attack really that far behind its rivals? The answer may surprise. The narrative surrounding Buffalo's wide receivers this offseason has been largely negative. With Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis gone, critics have claimed that Josh Allen is operating from a bare-bones position. But maybe, just maybe, that criticism is overblown. In a divisional analysis of the AFC East's wide receiver groups, the Bills surprisingly ranked second, ahead of the Patriots and Jets, and behind only the mighty Miami Dolphins. Here's why that matters. At first glance, names like Keon Coleman, Elijah Moore, and Joshua Palmer don't sound elite, but dig deeper, and you'll find consistency, potential, and a unique depth. Khalil Shakir has quietly emerged as Allen's most reliable target in 2024 with 76 catches and more than 800 yards. Curtis Samuel brings some new gadgets. Laviska Shenault and Caden Prather add more layers. Now compare that to the Patriots, who have Stephon Diggs back and depth options like Mac Hollins and Kendrick Bourne. Or the Jets, who have Garrett Wilson and not much else. Their supporting cast, Josh Reynolds, Alan Lazard, and Arian Smith, doesn't scare anyone. Yes, Miami still leads the pack with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But after them, the drop is real. The Buffalo Bills' committee approach may not be flashy, but it's more balanced and deep than most fans realize. Keon Coleman could be the breakout star of the year. Moore and Palmer bring a veteran presence with room to grow. And Shakir is no longer under the radar. And while the receiving core is better than many imagine, there's one important truth. To keep this roster competitive and financially balanced, sacrifices may be necessary. And that's where 2 big names start to emerge as potential trade pieces, and you won't believe who they are. As 2025 training camp approaches, the atmosphere inside One Bills Drive is no longer just about physical preparation and tactics, it's also about tough decisions. Very tough. The Buffalo Bills front office, led by Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott, has been walking a tightrope all offseason. No fanfare, no big headlines, but surgical moves aimed at a single goal, winning now. But to build a truly championship-winning roster, some sacrifices must be made. And in the last few hours, 2 names have emerged behind the scenes as potential bargaining chips even before the oval ball was rolled in training camp. 2 veterans who, until recently, had been abandoning their commitment to the plan. Now, they could be the pieces that unlock the final adjustments of the season. Let's start with a story Bills fans know well. AJ Epenesa arrived in Buffalo with a promising reputation, an explosive defensive end with strength, technique, and a second-round pedigree. And during his early years, he delivered exactly that, consistency. But the NFL is merciless to those who don't improve. And although Epenesa has recorded 6.5 sacks in each of the last 2 seasons, respectable numbers, the truth is that his growth curve has stalled. He hasn't become the terror in the trenches that many expected. And with the arrival of key reinforcements like Joey Bosa, Michael Hocht, and promising rookie Landon Jackson, the landscape has completely changed. Suddenly, Epenesa went from being essential to replaceable. Besides the overcrowding on the defensive line, there's another crucial factor: the salary cap. Epenesa enters the final year of his contract in 2025, carrying a cap hit of over $7 million. On a roster with just over $2.6 million in cap space, that's a luxury too expensive. Trading Epenesa now could be a brilliant strategic move. Teams are always looking for reliable edge rushers, and a franchise lacking in its defensive rotation wouldn't think twice about offering a mid-round pick. This would free up cap space, ease the competition for snaps, and even better position itself for a bigger move, like a bold move for Terry McLaurin, for example. And if you think he's the only one on the trade radar, wait until you hear the next name. If there's one certainty in Buffalo, it's Josh Allen. The league's MVP has no competition, no debate, and no doubts about his position. He's the soul of the franchise. But as every NFL coach knows, the backup quarterback is like a fire extinguisher. You hope you never need to use it, but he needs to be there, ready, tested, and functional. Last season, Mitch Trubisky returned to the Bills to fulfill this role. He was an experienced backup, already familiar with the system and respected by the locker room. But as the months passed, the landscape changed. Mike White's contract was renewed, and Shane Buechele impressed in practice. Suddenly, Buffalo is flush with backup QBs, and Trubisky, with his higher salary, has become a secondary and tradable piece. The timing couldn't be better. The 2025 draft QB class was disappointing, meaning Trubisky, as a reliable veteran, could be a valuable asset for several struggling franchises or those with unexpected injuries during the offseason. Trading Trubisky now has several benefits. It would free up cap space, free up snaps to develop Buechele or another young QB, and could also net a draft pick or a depth player, like cornerback or linebacker, areas where the Bills may need to replace throughout the year. Do you believe Buffalo should go all in on signing a star like Terry McLaurin, even if it means giving up names like AJ Epenesa or Mitch Trubisky? Do you trust that the current group of receivers, led by Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir, already has what it takes to take this time to the Super Bowl? Leave your opinion here. Don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel, but I will come back later to update you with the latest news from the Buffalo Bills.